Hello, we are doing the 2022 O-Level Math Paper 2 problem in real-world context question 10. Right, so let's dive into it. So reading the question first. A small business makes jewelry. Workers are paid an hourly basic rate with an additional payment. So you have the basic rate here, and these are additional parts. Right? So these are the guidelines for the workers. 40 hours per week maximum, 18 days annual leave or holiday paid at basic hourly rate, and an expected annual income of at least $48,000. Okay, so this is roughly actually describing how much the worker works a week and expects to get. So we have a first question. Abid makes 7 pairs of earrings in 1 hour. Calculate the time he takes to make 1 pair of earrings. So this seems like a simple ratio question. We're using the ratio concept. So you can simply say that 7 pairs for 1 hour. Yep. So therefore, 1 pair takes 1/7 of an hour, dividing 7 on both sides. Now, if I correct it to the nearest 10 seconds, we need to convert this to minutes and seconds, which would be approximately 8 minutes and 30 seconds nearest to the nearest 10 seconds. Right, so first answer, 8 minutes, 30 seconds. Next, different person, May, makes bracelets. One day, she works for 9 hours and earns a total of 231.75. Show that May made an average of 11 bracelets per hour. So remember, there's a basic and there's an additional amount that she earns, right? So with the given information, let's put everything together and solve the question. So let's first let X be the number of bracelets May made in total. Okay, so with that, and based on the basic and additional amount, the basic of 9 hours worked multiplied by the basic rate of 980 added to the number of bracelets she made, and that one bracelet costs 145. It should give us the total of 231.75. So use the information in the question. Just to give you a better idea, this is the base amount and this is the additional amount that we talked about. Yep. Next, so we expand it and evaluate it. We'll get 8820 here and 145x to be your 231.75. Now simplifying it, we'll get 145x is 143.55, and therefore x is simply 143.55 divided by 145, and it gives us approximately 99 bracelets. Okay. Now, be careful that this is for 9 hours of work, so therefore, May makes 99 divided by 9, which is 11 bracelets an hour. Show. Right, so now moving on to part C, which is the heavy part, 8 marks. A lot of things going on, so let's read the question first. In one day, a total of 132 necklaces are made. Chen and Ju, 2 people, make these necklaces. They give us a rate here that Ju takes 80 seconds less than Chen to make each necklace. They each work for 8 hours in a day. Then they ask us, can Chen and Ju each expect to earn the advertised minimal annual income of $48,000? Justify your decision and show your method clearly. So, to know whether they can hit this annual income, we need to know Chen and Ju, how many necklaces they make actually. And once we know that, we can know their hourly income then their daily income, then their weekly income, and eventually their yearly income. And then we can justify the statement. So let's start first. Pulling everything together, right at the side, I'm going to write here some concepts that actually are written in the question here. Number one, like I said, this is a rate question. There is a rate going on. What rate is this? It is the number of necklaces that either Chen or Zhu make will be equals to the total time they take, which is given in the question, right? 8 hours a day, divided by their rate of making, or the time taken for one necklace to be made. So between Chen and Zhu, they have a different rate. And from here, we can know the number of necklaces they make. And the thing that binds everything together is actually this is a word problem in which we need to solve an equation, right? There's a lot of unknowns floating around. So once again, I'm going to start with stating our assumptions. Let X be the time taken for Chen, one of them, to make one necklace. Okay? This will be in seconds. And naturally, the time taken for Zhu to make one necklace will be related to this X, right? And what's the relationship? It will be X minus 80 seconds, because Zhu is faster based on this statement here. Okay, with that, I'm going to start and write my equation or a relationship that binds everything together just by comparing the number of necklaces in total that both of them make. Because in total, I know that they make 132 of them. So therefore, now I'll use a different color. Number of necklaces made by Chen together added up with the number of necklaces made by Zhu should add up to 132, our starting statement. So now we'll use the concept of rate and put it together. Total time 8 hours, same for both, right? Divided by the rate by each person. So the time taken for one necklace is going to be X for Chen and X minus 80 for Zhu. And that should add up to 132. So now this looks very much familiar to a word problem in solving quadratic equations. Let's just go ahead and solve it. Moving down, giving us more space. So let's convert the hours to seconds because X is in seconds. So it'll be 8 times 60 because 60 minutes in an hour and 60 seconds in an hour. Okay. Same for this side. It will be the same value. Now, finally, we'll get 28,800 using a calculator here and here. Okay, so now let's find a way to simplify the fractions in this question by multiplying by both x and x minus 80 throughout. That would get rid of all the fractions. So by doing that, I'll get 28,800 multiplied by x minus 80 here. This one will be multiplied by only remaining with x, whereas the 132 will be multiplied to both x and x minus 80. Now you could have done this in a simple, different manner by combining the fractions and then cross multiplying, but we will end up at the same eventual endpoint. Okay. So expanding and simplifying this, I'm going to skip a few steps. Okay, this is something you should be good at. We will come to a point where we have 132x squared minus 68,160x plus a huge 2,304,000 is equals to 0. And I'm going to divide by 12 further to get 11x squared minus 5680x plus 192,000 equals to 0. Right? This point, by any method of solving a quadratic equation, quadratic formula, whatever, okay, simplest way, I'm gonna get your answer almost immediately. Yeah, okay, I'm not going to spend too much time on this. Let's put in the numbers. Yeah, and we're gonna get two values, 480 seconds, because this is a time taken, or 36.36 seconds. Now, if you look at the context of the question, 36.36 is not possible because I'm going to have a quantity of x minus 80. So I cannot have a negative quantity. So I'm going to reject this answer because x minus 80, this value, will be less than 0. So, doing quite a bit of work. We're still not at the end of the question actually. But we have found out that Chen makes 60 necklaces. How do I know that? Because I can take 28,800 divided by 480, which would be 60 necklaces. And for 2, it will be the same 28,800 seconds divided by the faster rate of 400 seconds per necklace. And that will give us 72 necklaces. So I'm going to draw a blue line here and start our second part of the question. Okay. So in this part now, we want to justify if making these number of necklaces is sufficient to hit the 48,000 annual income as advertised in the question. So very simple, we are just going to break it down into income per day, then a week, and finally a year. So income from necklaces is the same rate made in only 1 day, which we have seen in the question, is the basic rate of 980 times 8 hours worked, plus $1.65 times 60, because 60 necklaces made, 165 per necklace. So per day, Chen will make $177.40. Whereas for 2, we'll find the same rate per day. And that would be similar, 980 times 8, added to the 72 necklaces that they make. In this case, we will get 197.20. So definitely 2 faster, definitely makes more a day. Okay, so far makes logical sense. And from here we continue. Per week, what does Chen make? 177.40 times 5. 5 working days a week, an assumption made, to get 887 a week. Whereas for 2, it would be 197.2, the daily rate, times 5 days a week, 5 working days to get 986. Okay. Now, before we jump into the final conclusion, there are a few assumptions that we're going to make, and I'm going to state it out here. What are the assumptions made? That 1, there are 52 weeks in a year to find our annual income. Okay. Second, 18 days of annual holidays will not be factored in here, simply because we want to see in one whole full year, if they worked throughout the year, whether they can hit that 48,000. So with that, a simple calculation is made for Chen and 2. For Chen, because this is a per week, so annual income would be 887 multiplied by 52 weeks to get 46,124, less than the advertised 48,000. This is even with working a full year every single week without any leave. Whereas for Chu, it will be the better rate of 986 times 52 weeks. So we will have $51,272 more than the advertised 48,000. Okay, so with this we have provided sufficient justification using values, and we will conclude that Chen would expect to earn less than the expected annual income whereas for Zhu, you will expect to earn more than the expected annual income. And there we have it. Using clear presented working steps and solutions, even writing out our assumptions, we have clearly shown that Chen will not be able to hit the annual income, and Zhu will be able to earn more than the annual income, expected annual income. That's all for today. Thank you very much.